Developers want to close it down. A gentle Oxford backwater has become the focus of a bitter battle between the forces of tradition and of progress. Houseboat owners at the Castle Mill Yard are defying an eviction order from developers who want to build luxury flats on the site. They claim British Waterways, the public organisation behind the order, isn't protecting the heritage of Britain's canals. Carl Dinnan has this.
The leafy canals of England, not quite where one expects to find a gang of conservationists occupying a site, stealing themselves for eviction. These conservationists live on the canal. They seem to enjoy a different approach to life.
It's a slower way of life. The piece of it, the fact that I wake up to woodpeckers tapping on the trees every morning. I think there's an atmosphere of slowing down, of actually thinking things through.
And what they've been thinking through lately is the impending redevelopment of the yard where they maintain their boats, and they don't like it.
I think the whole concept of people living on their boats is threatened. I think people will still be able to enjoy the canal and its wildlife, but I don't think people will be able to live on it anymore, hence my way of life.
There's been a boatyard in the Jericho area of Oxford for 150 years, and the writer Philip Pullman has credited it with inspiring part of his Dark Materials trilogy. But the owners, British Waterways, now want to build flats here and are proposing an alternative site.
It's not a secure site, so if you're taking a boat up there and you're a single mum, or you're going to be stuck outside the ring road of Oxford on your own in an unlit industrial site with no running water, and there's a hose running, a 200-metre hose for water. It's one portaloo for the entire site, and the alternative here is a thriving community.
The alternative site is also miles out of town. So unhappy are the boat owners that they've craned 8 boats onto the wharf to occupy the yard. So long as there are reasonable alternative facilities, the people who use this boatyard say they accept that it will eventually have to be redeveloped. But there are wider concerns about how places like this around the country are being redeveloped. In some cases, it's worked well. Birmingham's Gas Street Basin is popular with users.
Most of what was interesting remains, or at least the face here remains. And so people visiting here have got a sort of an historical experience, and also, of course, they can indulge their tastes in restaurants and bars and clubs and pubs and so on and so forth. So it works pretty well.
British Waterways say any money they make from regeneration projects go back into the canal system, which now has more users than ever.
20 or 30 years ago, we were in real danger of losing these canals. They were abandoned, derelict, deserted. Nobody wanted to come here. Now, because of the money that we've invested, the local authorities invested, and now private sector have invested, these are vibrant places that people really want to see again. They have come back to life.
But as that process continues, developers are running into opposition. There are disputes from Brentford to Loughborough, from Burnley to Hebden Bridge. And this is what they're worried about. The development at Paddington Basin in London is, they say, bright, shiny and sterile. The boats are floating offices. No one lives here. So what about Oxford? Well, there's an eviction order in force, so things seem to be going the developer's way, although the 8 narrowboats on the wharf will at the very least give the bailiffs something to think about.
Carl Dinnan.